Well, okay, this is interesting game news. Let's talk about this. So Crytek is laying off 15% of the workforce, placing Crysis 4 in hiatus. It's about 60 people. And instead, they're going to focus on Hunt Showdown, their extraction shooter, or their games as a service. Let's talk about this for a second. Because we've talked about that a lot of studios are just one game, right? And they get that one game and they ride off the back of that, and that is their game, right? That's what they're known for. They try a bunch of other things and it just doesn't work out. So Hunt Showdown isn't what Crytek was known for, right? They were known for the Crysis games, but they were very that big of a seller, but they did pretty well. But it was like a showcase of their tech and everything, and it was cool. They did fine. But they're saying, unlike every other company that gets a success, right? They're saying, we're just going to lean into the success. We're going to admit this is what we are. Because normally you start making money on your games as a service and you start having somewhat of a hit. You're like, we got to spread this out. We got to go invest everywhere else. We got to go try to mitigate our risk here and not just be one thing. We got to go, become publishers. We got to go make 50,000 games. That was a big hiring that happened, right? Like we see this again and again. I mean, somehow Epic wanted to build Fortnite so big it bought Bandcamp, right? Like they just go on these crazy hiring sprees and they go and they try to build up. And instead, it's interesting to see Crytek say, hey, you know what? We're going to admit to what we are. That the cost of starting something new these days at that size that they compete at now and getting new players to play it and win them over is so expensive and so hard, it's not worth doing. And they're a pretty big developer. And they're 400 some people now. And technically, they're bigger than Valve, I think, or at least the same size. So think about that. Like, they're saying, hey, no, we should just be one game. We should just be this Hunt game makes us so much money. We should just be this. We should figure out how to get even more money out of this, build up more things out of this. We're just going to make more money making more experiences inside of this game than we would launching a whole new game because it's so competitive right now for new games. And we don't think there's a market for it because the market that we need to make isn't just a simple another single player shooter like they've done before. It's we would have to make this as a games as a service, free to play is what we're competing against. We're going to have to make all of these items for it, all of this stuff that is too expensive for us to compete in that space. So we're not going to try anymore. That's crazy. Right? I mean, I'm going to start talking about the new things some point. We've got big Anacrusis news coming. But because I'm purposely saying I'm small enough that we can just do a single player thing and that's okay because that's what I want to play these days. But they're just saying that for them at their size, that is too much to compete in that space and that they're going to bail out of it. That kind of tells you how hard that space is. And then for little indies to come in and try to do their shooters and compete in that space with games as a service, multiplayer, free to play. And yeah, and the Crytek people know what they're doing. Not to say that the indie startups don't know what they're doing, but the Crytek people know what they're doing. They made some good games. And also they sold their engine to Lumberyard and Amazon. So good on you fleecing them for that one.